13. 13 days until election night. If there was ever a time to do executive orders, it's now. Hashtag MSC, multiple stimulus checks. GDP numbers are out. They're very good. But Wall Street's worried about a K-shaped recovery. Millions of Americans across the country are being polled, and 63% of them say they want stimulus in their hands now before the election. In their hands. Additionally, another poll says that Donald Trump is no longer leading on economic policy as he struggles into the final days before election night, getting on message about this economy, as the Temple of Doom seems to be more the president than him on dealing with the situation. The question is, will he realize this is the final ticking hour and get the executive orders out, or will he continue to focus on things like people's laptops and Hunter Biden? This is 28. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is 28, the conclusion of morning's LALATE that started with a bombshell this morning with early morning's LALATE at 3 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, then went to morning's LALATE at 8:30, and now this recording every day at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for tuning in on a day in which we're going to reach 300,000 subscribers. Really quite an achievement and quite a blessing, and so honored for that you are part of this family for this achievement. Go to the Fun's channel, subscribe, because, we're about 5 months old, and no one would have thought a 5-month-old company could get 300,000 subscribers and millions of views a day and change the face of this presidential election. But tonight, we may certainly try to do that, and also like this video. The push for MSC has been heating up. I started the push on Friday, I started Purple Power about 2 months ago, and tonight the push is to get multiple stimulus checks by executive order, or in the alternative, a bigger stimulus check by executive order, and to get it now. This is the final 13 days before the election, and in this video, I will be going over that and whether or not Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin are really working or whether they're faux working. Next, I'll be going over timing of the executive order. Then I'll be going over polls and MSC, and finally tonight's debate, and finally tomorrow's debate. All right, let's get to the breaking news. Are people really working or not working on the second stimulus bill? Millions of Americans really at this point don't believe they are. People don't see results, and the results are stimulus in their hands, or being told that a law is passed. They've been told a lot of adjectives, and they've not been told a lot of financial numbers. And this channel specifically, which focuses on numbers, has not seen numbers from these people. For example, Steve and Nancy in the last few days have said they've made a lot of agreements, but some things remain outstanding. They do not list FPUC as an outstanding issue. So does that mean that FPUC is $600 a week? Did Steve go to $600 a week? And how about retroactiveness? Did Steve bring FPUC back to late July as where it belongs? Or did he agree to have FPUC like in the middle of September and just have it run for, September, October, and just stop it like in, middle December? What is that? I mean, what are we doing here? We need FPUC from July all the way probably into the middle of spring of next year. So I don't know where that, do they have an agreement? And what is the agreement? And why are they not telling us? Well, what we do know is that the bad news is that these two people are only spending about 45 minutes a day talking. The good news, and this is categorically incredible, great news. I mean, I'm really, really happy to hear this news, is that the situation is totally different than how it was a few days ago. Now, they have House subcommittee members working on the language and the numbers and crunching the numbers every single day for, I presume, a lot of hours per day, and then reporting it back to Nancy, who is basically like a postman. What an unusual analogy I have. She's sort of like, here's the mail. This is what they said. See you tomorrow. Don't chase me around the block. I don't run that fast. My hairdo will fall apart. And Steve Mnuchin apparently is doing the same. What Steve Mnuchin apparently now has a resource of is Mitch McConnell's Senate subcommittees helping him. What? Yeah. Today, Mitch McConnell's introducing a very bad bill that a lot of people are going to say, oh, Mitch is working against the president. Oh, the GOP members are not helping the president. Oh, they just don't want to tell you they are. It's this whole thing that they don't want to look like they're helping one another. Well, unbeknownst to any of us, until Mark Meadows spoiled it yesterday in an interview of CNBC, he revealed that Mitch McConnell's subcommittees in the Senate, the same members that don't want to give you stimulus, are in fact working on the language and getting it done and are finishing by the minute. Now, there's Chuck Schumer out to left field, and I want to address him in case you did see that interview. I saw it. I just happened to be flipping the channels, and there was Chuck Schumer, and he said much of silliness. I'm at this point, I really don't believe Chuck Schumer anymore. Sorry, Chuck, I don't believe you because everything is a negative. Everything is a no. In fact, Chuck Schumer's asked, "Why don't you just do a standalone bill like stimulus checks, standalone bill like FPUC?" He said, "Because let me change the subject." So I really just don't. There you go. Let's turn to executive orders, FPUC. What's important to understand is that executive orders for the FPUC need to be done now. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow's the presidential debate. And 63% of Americans polled overnight believe that a stimulus relief needs to be in their hand now, not just talked about. They also said that the stimulus is the single most important issue that they have going into the polls, that is the single issue that the Senate should be focusing on this week, and that they do not now put Donald Trump ahead in the polls when asked about any issue whatsoever, including the economy. This is the first time during this campaign that the president is now trailing on issues of the economy, which is truly incredible. And I'll tell you why that's so bad for him. The reason why it's so bad is because Joe Biden has said nothing about the economy. He's barely said a single word. So Trump is now behind behind someone who doesn't say anything, which is just shocking. Joe Biden, in turn, has not given you any guidance about how much stimulus checks you'll have, how much FPUC. I mean, none of these details. And Trump has been all over the place. His most recent statement is that I will go higher, and that I am higher than Nancy. You're not higher than Nancy. You are higher on stimulus checks, but not higher across the board. So collectively, without hitting a dead horse, is that executive orders need to be done now. MSC, $2,000 a month you were owed during the pandemic. You were owed a stimulus check every month as long as this pandemic went on, or as long as unemployment did not improve. Unemployment has not improved. We're at week 34 or 35 since unemployment shot from its best levels pre-pandemic to the worst levels since the Great Depression, and we've been there. Senator Harris said we cannot survive on a $1,200 stimulus check for 3 months. It's been 6 months, and we don't have a single check still. So to think that Nancy Pelosi wants to give you a $500 check or a $1,000 check, and that will be fine to cover you from March to December, and that meantime she has to go and give the Department of Treasury a nice salary raise to people who already have a job and are already making 6 figures a year. It's just incredulous. It really is incredulous. I tweeted an image last night that shows during this time in which, of May to today, congressional leaders, if I recall my own tweet, congressional leaders have have been paid out in salaries about $48 million, and you have been paid in stimulus $0. It's that type of silliness. Do the executive orders now. As viewers understand, if this president doesn't do the executive orders, why would someone reelect him at this point? Next, the polls and the timing of MSCs. This is what's so important. The polls are not good. The polls, whether you quote this source or that source generally shows Trump behind in all but 2 swing states. Some polls put him behind in all the swing states. Some polls put him very far behind in some of the swing states and high ahead in a few of them. But none of the polls put him ahead in all the swing states. None of the polls put him high enough to get 270 for the Electoral College. None of the polls put this as a close race. So even if you put a margin of error of something, he's just not doing well. He's just not doing well. And whether you're looking at Arizona, Florida, Michigan, or North Carolina, Wisconsin, or Pennsylvania, the numbers are not good. And if you did an executive order today, if he did an executive order today, if he did an executive order tomorrow, if he did executive order Saturday, if he did executive order the night of the election, I wouldn't do it the night of the election. I do it as soon as possible. If he did an executive order, that would give him at least a 3 percentage point pop. Generally, let me give you the backdrop. When the president issued the first stimulus check, which was not during a time of presidential campaigns, he just issued a check, his poll approval ratings popped 3% as soon as it happened. Now, you can correlate that the pop may only happen when you get the check. You can correlate that the pop only happens when the check is in the mail. Or you can say that the pop happens when he makes the announcement, if he does it splashy enough, and we all get the point that it's going to be here in about a week or 2 weeks. It's 3 percentage points. He needs 3 percentage points. You can't sit back and not say he doesn't need 3 percentage points. He needs 3 percentage points. And potentially this could give him more than 3 percentage points. If this is bigger and bolder and more beautiful, as MSC has been saying to you, it could be 5 percentage points. Let's talk about this. $800 billion. $800 billion accounts for, well, $200 billion is what $2,000 stimulus check looks. Wait, let me remember the math. $300 billion is what a $2,000 stimulus check is. So, you can't send 3 stimulus checks with $800 billion. You just don't have enough. You have enough for about 2.5 stimulus checks. So, I mean, if you want to send a $5,000 stimulus check, you could do that. I mean, imagine sending out a $5,000 stimulus check to all Americans 13 days before the election. I mean, I just don't know why anyone would wait and not do it. It's just categorically jaw-dropping. He has done it before. He has the legal authority. He did it with FEMA. He sent out the LWA with FEMA. He can do it again, and he should do it again. The question is whether he will. Tomorrow's debate will be the last and final presidential debate between these two people. And the prior presidential debate, we heard nothing about stimulus. The town hall between him and Savannah Guthrie on NBC, President Trump and Savannah Guthrie, he was asked about stimulus, and he basically said, I'll give you stimulus. I'll give you more than Nancy will give you a stimulus. I have GOP support. I will get the GOP to approve within 2 minutes. Nancy doesn't want to give you stimulus. We're going to go into election night, and she won't give you stimulus. Ultimately, I got to tell you, I don't think that message works. I don't think that message works because he hasn't done enough on stimulus as a press campaign up to this point for people to understand what does Nancy have to do with? You're the president. Your response. You should be doing things. And ultimately, a lot of people don't understand the breadth of the situation as they don't watch this channel and other places. So they don't understand the breadth of the situation. I think they will blame him for not giving them stimulus. It's as simple as that. They're going to say, they're going to look at their bank account and say, hey, I lost my job. I have no money in the bank. I'm about to be evicted, and you're blaming someone else. I elected you to do this, and you're not doing it. So where's the plan? Oh, the plan is that Steve is talking with Nancy, and we're almost there, and it'll be past the night after the election. This turns me to my opinion. My opinion, which you heard a little bit about on Mornings LALATE, which is I think that there will be a formative agreement between Steve and Nancy by the weekend, but I don't think that means much of anything because I think in my heart, currently, this is where my opinion is today. It could change It can change by tonight. But my opinion currently is that I have a sense and a worry that both Biden and Trump will tell their people, don't put anything to law until after election night. Trump will say it because he doesn't want to give away the kitchen sink and make it look like he lost, and he doesn't want to pass a law for Joe Biden. He's like, Joe Biden, why am I helping Joe Biden? You do your own law. He'll do a law for himself if he's reelected, and he knows the next day, hey, I'm your next president, so I'm going to pass this for law for myself. Joe Biden, on the other hand, which is basically Nancy Pelosi, I don't think she'll pass it as a law before election night, because she'll say, hey, there's still some stuff in here. I want more of this. I want it exactly like that. And I'll just hold out 2 more months. I'm not going to be homeless. I have enough. I have $25 trillion to my name. I have a nice home and some $12 ice cream. I can survive. Well, just don't come knocking at my door. And I think that's what they may do to us. And so that's why seats for stimulus is so important. It's important for also the congressional members, because these congressional members are going to go into the poll nights. These are not Nancy. These are also the other senators and House members, and they think they can just be reelected based upon, well, we tried. We tried to get you stimulus, and it was the other side's fault. So reelect me, and we'll get it done. Seats for stimulus, seats for stimulus, seats for stimulus. Vote them out. These incumbents have done nothing. They've done nothing. They have screwed you over from day one, and they will never own that they screwed you over. They took out the multiple stimulus checks in the spring. They allowed FPUC to expire in July. They scheduled SBC to expire while they're on vacation. They did not come back and put this and do a second round of stimulus checks after they didn't give you the first round. They said they would get to the April and May, in the month of June. They didn't come around and do a bill for April and May and June. And then when addressed the issue, let's do standalone bills for stimulus checks in the fall, standalone bills for unemployment in the fall, hazard pay. No. We're not going to do that. We got to take care of Gavin Newsom, Andrew Cuomo before we take care of you. No, we've been waiting around since April, folks. You didn't give us stimulus. That's the door. Vote you out. Let me go to some incredible questions and comments from last recording. Nona, Mitch McConnell is just an angry, grumpy man. Daniel, let's start an email campaign. Tracy, $4,000 per person. That would be nice. Tracy Dunbar, clearly we can't survive without help from January to February. It's just not passable. Sherry Johnson, people are losing their homes. James Chambers, Nancy's going to cost Biden this election if she doesn't do the deal and Trump does executive orders. Yeah, she will. She absolutely will. That's why Trump needs to do it. John Waddell, they're dictators. They don't care. Patsy Wells, Trump now saying go more than 2.2 trillion, but he hasn't done that. Kay Pilkelson, most of the extra leftover money should be used for stimulus checks, nothing else. Nancy Gaw, I wish they would hurry up. Michael Holtz, bacon is burning. The hairdresser wants back pay. Cindy, we need stimulus checks and unemployment. Do executive orders. Laura Foss, absolutely right. Trump needs to do more, like a tissue executive order for the MSC now, not later, depending on anything else. British Gray, good afternoon, LA and the Purple Power family. May God give you your favors forever, and may your struggles turn into blessings, always with love. Well, thank you so much. Kellyanne Phillips, families are starving. Give us some relief. Abby Keon, they cannot complain about coronavirus if they're not wearing a mask covering their nose and mouth. Monica Andrews, let's go. It's Purple Power. Go, Purple Power. Amen. David Weeks is actually the right way or the highway. I love that. Dominic Bartolomeo, Nancy Pelosi can't send out executive orders. Only Mr. President can. Do it. Me, myself, as we sit here, exactly. We just sit here and take it. Lisa Norton, LA, I have to say there hasn't been a show yet. We haven't made me laugh. On a serious side, I hope they do something soon. Thank you. Let's do it. Purple Power, do your thing. Go to the Frontage channel, subscribe, and let's get through this. Let's do it. Let's push. Purple Power, do your thing. Also, like this video. Coming up this afternoon at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time is Afternoons LALATE. And like yesterday, I'm going to do what I tried yesterday. Today, I'm going to do what I did yesterday, which was do the videos, release them closer together. Apparently, you liked it, so there's less wait time between videos. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay alive for more.